So, because Aaron seems to think you shouldn't really um, criticize any YouTuber when you're doing YouTube, even though he points out saying that I'm bullying him, even though I'm literally just saying the points that he's talking about and disagreeing. I'm not bullying him because I'm not saying something about his beard, his hair, his the way he talks. Really, I only mentioned the way he talks one time, mainly because I was criticizing that whole me being a bully thing. But if I really, really wanted to be a genuine bully, I could easily do that. But nonetheless, this is gonna be a full-on video doing the same thing what Aaron Fischer does. Just bashes on a person that he disagrees with within a movie, the movie studios and stuff like that, because for some reason that's okay to bash on. But let me go ahead. I really, really dislike Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, I would say, is the worst director that's overly hyped on and overly praised. Here's an example of a way that a director fan base doesn't really bash on like the director says something, and then that fan base of that director doesn't bash on the fact that that director said it. For example, Michael Bay, he no longer directs the Bad Boys franchise, right? And then does an Instagram video on the fact that the newer Bad Boys franchise is successful and people are talking about it. So he does like a video where he's like swimming in his home or something, and he says it's a good thing that Bad Boys is good because he really took care of that movie. He really enjoyed making the original ones. And yet when Zack Snyder talks about him looking forward to James Gunn's movies in the DC franchise, and he's gonna for sure watch it and all that. Like he says, Zack Snyder and James Gunn are friends and all that. The Zack Snyder fan base really hates that, right? Zack Snyder fan base really dislikes the fact that Zack Snyder and James Gunn are close, pretty close friends, sort of. I would say that's a negative. And sorry for rambling, but that I don't like, and the fact that the whole Restore the Snyderverse continued from Restore the Snyder Cut, when the Snyder Cut was mainly like a true like good thing that happened, you know, making a movie that Zack Snyder was supposed to be making, but couldn't because his daughter died and all that stuff. That was a genuine good thing. But after that, with this whole Snyderverse stuff, that was a little, to me, a little too far. Whenever you send death threats and bash on people that disagree with you, and also praise the movies so like up there that whenever someone criticizes the movie, you just say they're just a hater. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know cinema. I even had a YouTube person that says you don't know cinema, but he ends up talking to me and really says that even though we disagree, we're good. So that's a good thing. That Snyder fan is pretty positive, because any other Snyder fan would just keep going and just keep bashing on me and push me to the ground, further to the ground, and probably to like center of the earth, and like never give up. And yeah, but overall, I would say the fan base is one of the reasons why I don't like Zack Snyder. But that has nothing to do with the director himself. So I'm gonna say another thing that I disagree with is Zack Snyder's all about like hardcore being like, oh, rated R, like hardcore nudity, action, blood, whatever, right? When he goes to a franchise that is widely known for a general audience, you know, superhero comic book franchises, they're not auteur or like artsy things that should be like, doesn't matter what rating it is, what the topic is, and whatever, right? Comic books are very specific to PG-13 usually, right? And PG whenever it's like a kids movie, comic book movie. But overall, I would say comic book movies should be more general, unless you're talking about like Joker, when it was supposed to be specifically just like outside any universe or anything, just like an artsy movie. Joker 2 is gonna be a similar situation. But I would say, where was I? Oh yeah, I would say just stick with artsy movies. If you're like gonna be all artsy and slow-mo and like detail oriented and all that stuff, do that. And your whole idea of Batman not killing, saying, oh, not killing is bad because it's limiting the character. It's like, of course it's limiting the character. That's the whole point. You limit the character to make it more interesting. If you make it like the character can do anything, whatever they want, and all that stuff, it's less interesting because you would all automatically say, this is gonna happen, this did happen, and of course that's gonna happen. If you limit it, you have the question of how they're gonna get away with stuff, right? And Batman killing, he didn't kill in the comic book Zack Snyder's mentioning. He's saying The Dark Knight Returns. Whereas everyone points out he didn't kill the henchman that was holding a kid, right? He like shot him in the shoulder. It was like obviously in the shoulder, you know. And also Joker in that comic specifically said that he would end his own life just so people outside the area would think that Batman killed. Even though you didn't kill, everyone else would think you killed, kind of thing, right? That's the whole idea. So that's dumb. And then what's mind-boggling right now is I heard that Christopher Nolan was the one that had the idea of Zod going to the Phantom Zone, which that idea, I wanted that to happen even before hearing about that whole thing. Like, the Phantom Zone was good whenever Zod was in the Phantom Zone in the original Superman movie. And if you want to recreate the success of the first Superman movie, you sort of use that as a starting point, right? And it is weird that you had the decision of Zod turning around towards the people when like doing the laser eyes, because the actor could have easily done like multiple takes where he didn't do this and then this. That that's the point, right? I'm saying Superman being strong enough to actually force it to be 100% that side. If you see the scene, you know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, Superman's dad wanting to actually have all the kids in the bus die. It's kind of dumb. And, of course, the Snyder fans would say, no, that didn't happen. But it sort of did. He said maybe, and maybe usually insinuates that you could have done it, you know? But, yeah, that's the thing. And I'm a really big Superman fan. Superman seems like Zack Snyder didn't really care too much with Superman, you know. Did the whole Jesus thing really like clearly and all that stuff, and of course Sucker Punch sucked. Everyone says Sucker Punch sucked. Even some of the Zack Snyder fans say the Sucker Punch movie sucked. And yeah, the Owl movie, the something Guardians or something like that. That kind of sucked. Some people didn't even watch that movie. Some Zack Snyder fans even admitted they haven't even like seen anything about the movie. That's weird. You know, what's funny is like, oh, the Guardians and the Galaxy, James Gunn. So James Gunn is now. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, overall, a good Zack Snyder movie was written by James Gunn. Dawn of the Dead. And I'm just slightly joking, but yeah. Overall, I think Michael Bay is a better director than Zack Snyder, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is because Michael Bay started the same way that Zack Snyder did. Zack Snyder started with directing music videos. Michael Bay did the same exact thing. But yeah,